made him if they ride or die. Patience, gotta give myself some room to breathe. Patience, and if you really trying to win, you're gonna need patience. And if you really want.
Yo, what up, people? It's your boy, The Laugh King, coming at you with another video. And in this video, I'm just gonna talk about my Pacers. I haven't done a video like this in a while. I think the last video I did, I was talking about Lance Stephenson, how he should have been the lead point guard. I think this was before Victor Oladipo got traded to Indiana. It was a time when, you know, Paul George was gonna get traded, or he was looking to go play for the Lakers or whatever. But anyways, with this podcast, what I want to do is I just want to talk about the whole Miles Turner versus Domantas Sabonis debate, because like every year, you know, Pacer fans, Pacer media, or indie media, they always need something to talk about. So, and I just feel like they always want to divide the team, whereas like you have guys like Victor Oladipo, who's really trying to like keep this team together, and because they all have a common goal, like they know what they did last year, so they're kind of trying to do that, but to a whole nother level. Like they're trying to be better than last year, and with the roster that they have, I think they can do that, or they can finish around the same, finish around the same seeding in the standings. So like there's no way they should not be either a 5 or better seed in the Eastern Conference, just on the way they play. So if you watch the team last year struggled the same way they're doing this year. Like they had the same kind of issues. They weren't shooting a lot of threes or whatever. But now this year, you know, they had a team meeting last year, and Thaddeus Young, he actually went off. Like he went out of character, and he just started like, you know, he took a hold of the locker room. And ever since then, you know, the Pacers pretty much stepped their game up, and everybody was on the same page. And, you know, they finished 5th in the East. They took Cleveland to 7 games. They should have won that series. But, you know, come down to it, like this year, you know, they gave Miles Turner that contract. It was like 4 years, $80 million. Or $72 million, but he can finish it with $80 million. And, you know, people are looking at the contract and they're like, oh, Miles, we've been watching Miles since he's been a rookie. So you kind of know what he's good at and what he's not good at. And the thing is, a lot of people saying that because Miles Turner doesn't bang down low, that he shouldn't be starting. I'm like, that's not the reason why, you know, he shouldn't be starting. Like, to me, he's pretty much the starting center on the Pacers. So, like, y'all need to just get over it. And the way Sabonis, when he comes in, you know, he gives that team the boost of energy. My problem with the Pacers start is pretty much like Darren Collison, because you have 2 speedy guys in the backcourt, and they don't even utilize the speed. Darren Collison was the top 3-point shooter in the NBA last year in terms of percentage. He was up there. I don't know what it is, but he was definitely up there. So he's not even in attack mode. Like I think there was one game. My memory's bad right now, so I can't remember which game it was. But there was a game where he actually, you know, was assertive, and he actually did some good. And the game that they lost against Philly, he pretty much didn't show up. He played 17 minutes. I'm shocked he even played 17 minutes, because I don't even remember seeing him out there. And you had Corey Joseph, you know, who's pretty much like he's a defensive point guard. He was pretty much playing all the minutes. So a lot of people are talking about Sabonis should be in the starting lineup. They're saying Miles should be benched or whatever. It's like, come on, man. Like, my only problem with Miles Turner is that he is too hesitant. Like, I think that's where he gets in trouble. It has nothing to do with, I don't think it's anything with him not wanting to bang or whatever. I just think he's just too hesitant. Because if you watch the Philly game in the first quarter, I think they had Ben Simmons on him, and instead of taking Ben Simmons off the dribble or backing him down, he would just pass the ball to Collison. And Collison's a guy who don't even like to pass him the ball. So, and maybe Collison doesn't like giving him the ball because Collison knows that he's too hesitant with the ball. So that's why he doesn't look for him. So there's a lot of variables there. You got to look at the footage and you got to look at the games and you got to break them down. You can't just assume that, Miles is playing the way he's playing because he's scared or whatever. Like, I don't know. I'm not buying that. I don't know what's going on in his head during the games where he feels that he can't be dominant. But, a lot of these team guys, that's kind of how they are, right? They don't feel like they should just keep getting their own shot. And they feel that if they ask for their own shot, they might be taking their teammates out of the game. So I think Miles has to be more demanding of the ball. There was an instance last game where he actually posted up somebody. I think it was Dario Saric, and he actually he gave him that shoulder fake and he spun around him and he just got the layup. Like there's things that I think he probably missed that because he only had 4 points. But when you see when he's assertive, that he can be a dominant force. People want him to bang down low. His body is not meant to bang. I don't even think he has the good enough footwork to even hold his own banging down low on a consistent basis, and he knows that, right? He worked on his upper body strength in the off season, but I think he has to really work on his core and his lower body because that's where he falls. That's where he gets in trouble with guarding the bigger centers. So, and if you look at Sabonis has he has a tree trunk type frame. So his dad is Arvydas Sabonis. So the footwork is there, right? So that's why Sabonis is able to get where he needs to be on the floor. That's why he's able to bang with the big guys because of his strength and his footwork. And I've been saying this for years that's what Miles Turner has to work on. He has to work on his core strength. So until he does that, you're going to keep seeing the same type of Miles. So when you put them together, you have to make sure Miles is guarding the perimeter guy and making sure Sabonis is guarding the paint, right? Even though Miles is a better shot blocker than Sabonis, they're going to want to post up Miles if he's down there. And they know that they can't post up Sabonis the same way they post up Miles. So that's what you have to look at. So I don't understand this whole, Miles needs to be benched and all that stuff. They're just trying to divide the team. And it's just what are you doing? It's stupid, right? And I want to talk about Tyreke Evans too because, that guy, he's a good player, but if you're going to run the second unit, you have to look for Doug McDermott. The coach has to make calls, has to call plays for McDermott because half of the time McDermott is sitting in the corner and this guy, Tyreke Evans, he's either looking for his shot or he's looking for Sabonis. And Sabonis has been dominant, so of course you're going to look for him, right? But you have to keep the defense honest because that shuffle pass that he keeps doing in the paint to Sabonis, the good teams are going to notice that within the next month or two, and they're going to shut it down. So at some point of the season, you're going to have to look for Doug McDermott. So I know McMillan had McDermott and Bogey on the wings last game, and they actually did pretty good. Some people were like, no, they didn't. But, it opens up the floor for guys like Oladipo and Collison and even Corey Joseph. So, because Corey Joseph, he can get in the lane whenever he wants. He dribbles a lot, but he can get into the lane. So that's things you have to look at. And the Pacers have to shoot more threes, not necessarily force shots like how the Bucks are doing, because to me, the Bucks, I don't think that's sustainable. But you have Doug McDermott and you have Bojan Bogdanovic, you have TJ Leaf, you have Miles Turner, you have all these guys that can spread the floor, but you're just choosing not to spread the floor. You're getting the mid-range jump shots, which is cool because teams will give up that shot, but you have to make those shots. You either got to get to the rim or you got to make those mid-range shots. And if those mid-range shots aren't going, you have to extend your offense out, and you got to start shooting, getting the ball to the three-point shooters. So there was one game where Doug McDermott and Bojan Bogdanovic, they had like 2 3-point attempts for the whole game. Like, that makes no sense. So those guys definitely need more shots. If you're gonna start anybody, you got to start Corey Joseph, because he knows how to get into the lane just like how Oladipo does, and he knows how to set up the teammates. So that's what you got to look at, man. Like, all this talk about, Miles and Sabonis, like, it's beating a dead horse, because it's not gonna happen. A lot of the media is trying to dictate what goes on in the locker rooms and what goes on with teams, but these teams aren't gonna care, man. They know what their game plan is. They know what they're gonna do, and that's what they're gonna do until they decide to make adjustments. So we're gonna see. They play Miami tonight, so we're gonna see how Miles is tonight. I think he'll be a lot better. We also got to talk about Thad Young, because sometimes he has bad games. Like, he had a terrible game. I don't know if he's sick or whatever, but he had a bad game too. So, but for some reason, everybody's just centering the focus on Miles Turner. So, I don't know. I'm going to leave it at that. What do you guys think? This podcast is mainly for Pacer fans. It's just stuff I got to get off my chest since I have an outlet. I just want to speak into the mic and talk about my team. And that's pretty much how I feel, man. I feel the Pacers are fine going forward, man. Like, I think eventually they'll figure it out, and they're going to go on another run like they did last year. Like, guys need more shots. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, thanks for listening to the podcast. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to my channel. It's a lot of NBA Live stuff on there, but I'm trying to mix it up a little bit more too. So, yeah, that's it. I'm out of here. Peace.
Got a confession. I possess the God particle, lock me up for possession. Your relationship with God should be great for proper protection. If I am to show and prove, ain't no need to ask me no question. The segregation real, you should probably stay in your section.